beginning last October, here we are, but it's about 9 months later, and you've sort of put this story, this idea out into the world, and I can sort of see the impact that you guys have already had. Can you talk about the impact that you've had, and did you anticipate this many people rallying behind what you guys are doing?
It's interesting, I mean, because tiny houses have been really popular in the media, especially in the last sort of year, and that's something that I don't really even think we expected when we first started this project. It's not like we were like, oh, tiny houses are really hot, let's do something about that. It was really kind of grew out of, what was going on in our own lives, and we didn't even realize sort of how big the interest was and the movement was until sort of around the time we were doing our Kickstarter campaign. And so I think we've been really lucky in that respect, in the timing of it. And, that's sort of, one of the reasons that we were able to kind of take the leap and say, okay, let's, put more work into this and make it a feature, is because we felt like this is an important story that people are feeling drawn to and people want to hear for whatever reasons. And we kind of we've come this far, we can't not tell the full story. So.
Yeah, in terms of impact, it's sort of hard to gauge, I think, your impact sometimes as a filmmaker, because it's sort of a nebulous thing. And we haven't actually even released our film yet. But because we did Kickstarter and because we've been trying to get sort of a grassroots support, we've put a lot of things out there, and we have a blog, and we have been on a lot of other blogs and featured on and things. So I think that's a little unusual for a lot of documentaries. I don't think, maybe more and more, but haven't traditionally gotten so much out there before they even had a film. And anyways, it's hard to sort of gauge what impact that's been just from in terms of, this person made this change in their life because of that, because we don't know most of the people who know about our project. But where it hits home for me is that I actually have had a few friends who now are thinking about doing something similar, or shared with me. We were visiting a friend here the other day who just bought a house in LA, but before he bought a house, he wasn't finding anything he liked, and he was, doing a bunch of research and kind of drawing up plans to build a tiny house because he came and visited ours. And so when I hear things like that, I'm like, oh wow, this does have some impact in people's lives, and it's pretty exciting, And I think if I could speak for both of us here, we have had some opportunities to share the project with kind of like first graders, and also the Pioneers Conference came out to the building site in Colorado. And so moments like that are actually, I think, some of my favorite parts, when we're able to share it with people who get really excited by the whole thing.
Yeah, little kids are fun because they're kind of like, oh my God, this is possible. You're a grown-up and this is my dream, and you're living my dream, which is really cool.
Well, you've impacted us, and Dave will tell you that I've talked about tiny houses now. Summer 2011. So.
Actually, this is really exciting. We just found out in the last few days, an uncle of mine, and I have a lot of uncles, but one of them is a urban planner in Idaho, and he's organizing the Idaho Regional and Urban Planners Association conference or whatever. And it's architects, planners, and people who are in a position to actually make changes in their cities and stuff in terms of the housing codes. And he's really excited about the project and wants us to come screen it there this fall and maybe host some sort of a session. And I'm saying this just because I think that is what I'm most excited about, is to get it in front of people who are in the position to maybe make some changes, in society. And it started getting us thinking about, we have a friend who we showed the film to who runs a nonprofit, and his first question was, okay, so you made this film, what's your plan for it afterwards in terms of, having it make a difference? And so now I think we're in this position where we're kind of nearing the end of this film, how are we gonna use it to make an impact? And so I'm really excited about doing things like that, like taking it to these types of conferences for people who are in the position to do, something about this issue.
Yeah, there's the personal downsizing level, and there's also kind of the bigger, the building codes and, the kind of more societal things that can change as well. So
yeah, so we're excited to try to, create some sort of momentum, I think, out of the film.
Yeah, and watching one of Jay Schaefer's videos, he said when he first heard that there was red tape around tiny homes. Just the mere fact that there was, like, I guess, quote, civil disobedience around it made him want one at that point. And that was sort of his turning point. So maybe there'll be a whole movement of people that just really want to challenge the status quo in that sense. But yeah.